So as a review of charts, here is a short video going over how to create a combination chart and then just talking about the parts of a chart. So quickly, I'm going to grab this data to create a combination chart, and I'll explain why it's combination chart in a moment. Insert. It's not one of the choices, so I'm going to go to the More Charts button and then go to All Charts, and all the way to the bottom is how you get to combo. And what happens then is you have your various types that you can choose from. I'm just going to use the first one, the clustered column with a line. And so what I want is I want each of these people's, how much they sold in this fundraiser for week 1 and week 2 in separate bars. So that's set up correctly. Clustered column, clustered column. Each of those are a separate bar. The number of items sold, I actually don't even want that. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that in a minute. And then the total amount of money collected, that's going to be this other line. Now notice these numbers are way bigger than these numbers are going to be. So I want to have these on this side with a different scale. So like these are going to go up to, it's going way up here to 250 because of these numbers. But these other numbers down here, like these little bars, they're just tiny. So what I'm going to do is set this total collected, because it's the bigger number, to the secondary axis, which is the right-hand side. So now the week 1 and 2 numbers are on the left-hand side. That's the primary axis. And then this other one will be on the right-hand side. That's the secondary axis. That's how you know which one is which. Now I'm going to hit OK. And then to get rid of this number of items sold, I'm going to go up to Select Data. And I'm just going to uncheck that one and say, don't use that one in there. And you can just click on it and hit remove as well. In case you might ever want it back, you can just uncheck it. I'm going to hit OK here. And now that gray one is removed from my legend. So I've updated my legend. Okay, let's just look at the parts of a chart to make sure you're aware. Obviously, this is the chart title here. This white area is what we call the chart area. And notice over here on the pane, it will say that, like what each part that I'm clicked on is called. So this is the chart area. And if I wanted to change the color of the chart area, for instance, I can go to Fill and say I want a solid fill or a gradient fill. Then I can come here and choose my color for that chart area. You can also jump around to any of these by just using this drop down. So I can say horizontal axis. If you don't know which one that is, you can click on it and see how the bar is now around this bottom part. This is the horizontal axis. This over here, of course, is going to be your vertical axis. And we have 2 of them because we have one on our primary side, and then we have one on our secondary side on this particular one. If you wanted to make changes to, say, the scale of an axis, you can simply double click, and then over here in this pane, you're going to hit this Axis Options button. And then you have all kinds of different things here. So for instance, if I want this to top out, let's see, the biggest one is 220. So let's say I want this to top out at 230 instead of 250. Then I can type that in there. And, you know, there we go. Now it has a negative here at the bottom because of the way that's set up. But that's basically that. Or I can say, nope, that's going to be a 0 because I say so. And then you can just type those numbers in there. Also with the major units, like this goes by 5. So let me just double click on this one, get on this side. Okay. And then I could say, all right, well, for this one, instead of it going by 5s, let's go by 3s. So we'll do that. And then you can see there, it goes by 3s because the highest number one is going to be a 20. I don't need anything higher than that 22. And it was going to 25 before. Okay, let's look at the rest of these. So we did the vertical axis. We don't have a vertical axis title here. So we would click here on axis titles. If you check mark it, it's going to add them on all of them. If you only wanted them on certain ones, you could uncheck. So we have our primary horizontal. That's the bottom one. Let's say I don't want that one. I can uncheck it. And then you have your primary vertical and secondary vertical. So this is the primary and the other is the secondary. I'm not going to type words in there, but to show you what you can do, if you wanted to flip this around so it goes the other way, over here where it says text direction, I can sit there and turn it this way, rotate it this direction. Of course, this down here at the bottom is your legend. Pretty much most of your charts will have that, but if you choose to hide it, you can uncheck it again from the Chart Elements button. This is the Chart Elements button, and this is the Chart Styles, which is just a shortcut way to get to these up here. You can also get to your color schemes from here. Monochromatic is one that our book uses quite a bit, which is the same as going to this button. So that's those. And then, of course, you've got your grid lines. On this particular one, I have grid lines. And, if you want to change the color of those grid lines, then while you're clicked on that, you can come down here and modify your color settings. Or if you wanted them to be thicker, you can modify the width of those lines. So that's another thing there. That's the major grid lines. You also could have minor if you had those turned on, which I do not right now, but I could go in here and add on those minor grid lines as well. Or you could even add the ones that go up and down, the vertical lines. So lastly, let's just talk about how we can, let me click over here, how we can add data labels. So if you wanted to see the numbers of each of these bars, let me click off of it and click on the bars. If I wanted to add numbers to those bars, and notice right now I'm clicked on the week 2 ones. So if you don't want to just have one, then you might have to click on multiple ones at the same time, or on the entire chart. So I'm going to click just on the chart area itself and come to here, not be clicked on any specific bars. And then I can go here to my data labels and check it. And now we have data labels everywhere. We may not want them everywhere, so we can come in here and go to more. And then we get some more options. And this will give you the opportunity to choose where you want to have these things. So let me come over here to the 3 bars. You can choose which things you want. Like if you want the values, then you check mark that box. So it's going to put that values on that particular one that I'm clicked on. You can change the position of those data labels. You can even choose some additional ones here called data callout, which puts them in little boxes. So that's kind of fun too. There's also a thing called a trend line that you can add through here, or a data table, which puts your information down below your table. So anyway, this is just a real quick overview of the parts of the charts, and then just a walkthrough on how to create a basic combo chart. Not too complicated, and charts can always be fun.